Going to move now to question number 1, Dr. Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Energy and Resources and asks, does he agree with the Minister of Finance that New Zealanders are not paying too much for electricity?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Simon
Mr.
Bridges.
Speaker, yes, I do. And I also agree with the Minister of Finance's recent comment that a lot of us don't like the power bills we get, but the one thing that will be worse and more wasteful will be politicians running the electricity system. And that'll look cheap for a while, and then you'll find that the technology hasn't been upgraded, that the new generation that we need hasn't actually turned up, and then there'll be a big spend by the government to subsidise something, and the prices all go up.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. How much has the annual electricity bill of a typical Kiwi family increased by under his government?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, Mr. Speaker, by about half as much as it did under Labor and Greens, about 4.5%, not 8%, under this government. So, in fact, whilst we saw massive rises under Labor and the Greens, we have half that steep rise under this government. That's right.
Point of order, Dr. Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I seek leave to table a document prepared by the Parliamentary Library showing that electricity bills have risen by $372.80 per year under this government.
Leave is sought to table that paper prepared by the Parliamentary Library. Is there any objection? There appears to be none. It can be
Supplementary. Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
Given that electricity prices rose at 6 times the rate of inflation in the past year, has the National Party government been effective at bringing power prices down?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Yes, because as I've already said, we have halved the massive steep increases we saw under Labor and the Greens.
Supplementary question, Brendan Horan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What action is the Minister going to take for the people of Tauranga as statistics produced by his own government show their power prices are rising 15% faster than the national average rise?
Honourable order. Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm going to continue to ensure, as Minister of Energy and Resources, that we have an increasingly competitive system. The member might like to know that in Tauranga, the main retailer is Trustpower, where they provide a cheque back to consumers of $375 a year. That's $3 more than Russell Norman says the prices went up last year.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
Given that power bills for the average family did increase under his government by $372 per year, what is more important to his government, profits for electricity company owners or power prices for Kiwi families and businesses?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Prices for Kiwi families.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
Why is the Minister comfortable with the constant increase in power prices under his government electricity market settings when there are better alternatives that would result in cheaper power for Kiwi households and businesses?
Because we are ensuring an increasingly competitive system. We came into government in 2008. We had a comprehensive review of the system. We made a raft of changes. And as the Electricity Authority said very recently, we've seen in the last year increased competitiveness in a retail market, increased activity on the futures market, and improved hydro management in response to a dry year. So we are doing the right things to make this an increasingly competitive market.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
If the Minister's actions have been so successful, why have prices increased at 6 times the rate of inflation over the last year?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, let me give the member an example of how successful they've been. Some 700,000 people have switched since we introduced What's Our Number. In Auckland, you can go from the most to the least expensive retailer at the moment and save $343. In Wellington, $418. In Christchurch, $618. And in the South Island, Balclutha, $485.
And you hate it!
Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
Does he agree with the Commerce Commission's independent Wallach report that electricity companies are overcharging by $700 million a year on average?
Speaker,
Honourable Simon
my
Bridges.
understanding is that that was based on very old data, but to the extent that the member asked the question, no, I don't agree.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
Why don't you agree?
Because,
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Because it's based on old figures. Mr Wallach based it on Northern Hemisphere examples rather than what's happening in this country, and we're a world away in a very different set of circumstances than the examples he used.
Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
Why is it that the Minister prefers to listen to the advice from the electricity companies that they're not overcharging, rather than listening to the advice of the independent report from the Commerce Commission, which found that the electricity companies are overcharging by $700 million per year?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
Well, I already answered that in my earlier question.
Order. I want to hear the answer.
I already answered that question in my earlier question. Answer.
Point of order, Dr. Russell Norman.
My question was, why is he listening to the electricity companies rather than the Wallach report commissioned by the Commerce Commission?
And the Minister answered that by saying he'd already answered that reasoning in the earlier questions. That's quite satisfactory. Is this a further supplementary question? Supplementary question, Dr. Russell Norman.
What assurance, if any, can he offer New Zealand families and businesses that electricity prices will return to the level that they were when he entered office before the 2014 election? When will they return to the original level?
Honourable Simon Bridges.
I offer them my absolute assurance and conviction that our market is becoming increasingly competitive, and you see that in the very sharp deals that you can get all around New Zealand at the present time.
Supplementary question?
Point of order.
Point of order, Brendan Horan.
I seek leave to table domestic electricity prices as released by Moby.
If it's released by Moby, is it freely available to all members on their website? Yes, it is. Question number 2, David.
Speaker, to the Prime Minister, does he stand by